There's a reason a woman can struggle to walk away from you, even when she tells herself she's not fully interested. And it starts with something deeper than attraction, deeper than physical chemistry, deeper than the surface level emotions she tries to convince herself she feels. What keeps her connected is the stability you bring into her life, the consistency, the presence, the emotional grounding that she doesn't get anywhere else. Most men don't understand how powerful this is because stability isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's not something she praises out loud. But subconsciously, it becomes the anchor she keeps returning to even when her mind tries to pull her in another direction. When a woman sees that you remain steady regardless of her moods, regardless of her confusion, regardless of her mixed signals, she starts to view you as someone she can emotionally lean on. And that's a rare experience. Most people in her life, friends, men, even family, come with conditions in consistency or emotional volatility. But you showed up with presence. You gave her a predictable emotional environment. You responded with clarity where others reacted with chaos. That creates a sense of safety inside her, whether she admits it or not. You become the emotional home she didn't know she needed. Even if she doesn't want a relationship, even if she claims she's unsure, even if she tries to convince herself that you're not the one, she can't fully detach because there's a version of peace connected to you. A part of her feels understood in a way she doesn't experience with most men. And that kind of emotional stability is addictive, but in a quiet way. It's not the fireworks that make her feel overwhelmed. It's the calm that makes her feel grounded. She can talk to you about things she hides from others. She feels like she can soften around you. She knows that you don't judge her impulsively or react out of ego. And because of that, even when she tries to push away, something in her energy always pulls back. She knows that if she lets go completely, she loses that sense of emotional grounding. And losing stability is scarier than losing attraction. Even women who are not interested struggle with this. She'll tell herself she's moving on, yet she'll still check on you. She'll still keep communication alive with small breadcrumbs. She'll still respond just enough to stay connected. She'll keep you in her life not because she plans to choose you, but because she doesn't want to lose the one man whose presence feels solid. And that's the part you must understand. You're not just another man to her. You're her balance. You're the steady point in her emotional confusion. You're the calm in her internal storm. That's why she can't fully detach. Because even if she doesn't want a relationship right now, she doesn't want the emotional void that appears when you're gone. Sometimes she's not choosing someone else over you. Sometimes she's choosing confusion over clarity because clarity scares her. She's scared of choosing the guy who could actually ground her. She's scared of choosing the man who doesn't play games. She's scared of choosing the man who makes her feel safe because safety requires vulnerability, openness, and responsibility. And not every woman is ready for that. But even through the fear, even through the uncertainty, she knows this truth. Losing a man who brings stability means losing a version of herself that only exists when she's around you. And that's why she holds on even when she says she's not interested. Emotional impact is something most men underestimate, but it's one of the strongest reasons a woman can't fully let go of you even when she insists she's not interested. What she feels around you becomes something she can't replicate anywhere else. It's not about what you said or what you did in a dramatic moment. It's the subtle things that stay imprinted in her mind long after the connection fades on the surface. You made her feel something she didn't expect, something she wasn't getting from anyone else, and that emotional shift becomes a quiet echo she keeps returning to. Maybe it was the way you listened without judging. Maybe it was how you saw parts of her she doesn't show easily. the vulnerable parts, the insecure parts, the messy parts. Or maybe it was how she felt around you, lighter, more feminine, more expressive, more understood. Even if she tries to detach logically, she can't detach from how her body reacted to you, how her energy shifted when you walked into the room, or how her mood softened when she heard your voice. Women don't easily forget emotional experiences, especially the ones that wake them up to a part of themselves they didn't know they could feel. What makes this even stronger is the contrast. If she's used to men who drain her, ignore her, invalidate her, or make her feel like she has to fight for every bit of attention, then your presence becomes something rare. You didn't overwhelm her with pressure. You didn't chase her in a desperate way. And you didn't try to force a version of her that benefits you. Instead, you created an emotional space where she could breathe, speak freely, and feel seen. That's the kind of impact that stays even when she tries to convince herself she doesn't care. Women remember the emotional climate, not the details. She might forget what you said, but she remembers exactly how you made her feel. She might forget the conversations, but she remembers how her guard dropped when you were around. She might forget the timeline, but she remembers the stability, the warmth, or even the mystery that made her think about you at random moments. And that emotional imprint is what keeps her tied to you, even if she thinks she's done. Even if she loses interest logically, emotionally she remains connected because what she felt with you touched something deeper than attraction. It touched her sense of identity. It challenged her usual patterns. It made her feel a version of herself that she can't recreate with anyone else. So every time she tries to cut the emotional thread, she feels the loss of that part of herself. And that's what brings her back, even if the return is subtle. Liking a story, replying late at night, checking in just to see how you're doing, or bringing your name up in random conversations. In many cases, she's not holding on to you. You're holding on to a piece of her emotional landscape. You changed how she views connection, even if she doesn't admit it out loud. You gave her an experience that feels too familiar, too warm, too grounding to fully walk away from. And because of that, her emotions never fully detach, even when her words say otherwise. That's why she keeps orbiting around you, staying close enough to feel your presence, but distant enough to pretend she's moved on, when deep down she hasn't. Another powerful reason women struggle to let you go, even when they claim they're no longer interested, is the magnetic pull of emotional consistency. Most men don't realize how rare consistency is in today's world. Predictability, steadiness, presence without chaos. When a woman experiences that from you, it leaves a strong imprint on her nervous system. She becomes used to the way you move, the way you communicate, the way you handle pressure, the way you respond instead of react. That stability becomes a kind of emotional anchor, and once she's felt it, walking away from it isn't as simple as she tries to make it sound. You might not have been perfect, you might not have been everything she wanted, but you were something she could rely on emotionally. She didn't have to decode mixed signals or chase breadcrumbs. She didn't have to constantly wonder where she stood with you. And whether you realize it or not, women bond deeply to the emotional patterns they experience repeatedly. The more predictable you were emotionally, mentally, or even in your silence, the deeper that bond formed. Not because you forced it, but because consistency creates safety, and safety creates attachment. Think about it when every other connection in her life feels uncertain, unstable, or superficial. Your steadiness becomes more than a trait. It becomes comfort. Even if she isn't interested in the romantic sense anymore, she misses the emotional equilibrium you brought into her world. She may have pushed you away because of timing, fear, doubt, or personal struggles, but that doesn't erase the fact that her mind still associates you with calm, clarity, and reliability. And here's what makes consistency even more powerful. It's not loud. It's not something she consciously notices at first. It works quietly, settling into her subconscious. She only realizes its value once it's gone. That's why she keeps checking your social media, circling back into your messages, or asking mutual friends about you. She's not just missing you. She's missing the version of herself she became when life felt steadier around you. This is also why your absence feels heavier to her than your presence ever did. When a consistent man removes himself, it creates a void, because inconsistency is the norm in most modern interactions. She tries to replace what she felt with you by talking to other guys, distracting herself, or pretending she's moved on, but everything else feels loud, chaotic, uncertain. And that contrast pulls her back in your direction, even if she's fighting it. Your consistency also exposes her inconsistencies. It shows her the areas where she wasn't stable, where she was unclear, where she was running from something within herself. A woman may detach physically, but she can't emotionally detach from a man who brought out the part of her that craved peace. No matter how complicated the situation was, she remembers how your presence grounded her, and grounding energy is something no woman easily forgets. And sometimes she'll return not because she wants a relationship, but because she misses the emotional reliability you brought into her life. She misses what it felt like to be emotionally safe around someone who didn't manipulate her, rush her, or make her feel small. That's why she keeps you in her orbit, because emotional consistency is rare, and once she's experienced it, nothing else feels quite the same. Another reason women struggle to let you go, even when they act like they're no longer interested, is because of the emotional space you once occupied in their daily life. People don't like to admit this, but emotional routines are powerful. When someone becomes part of your mornings, your nights, your conversations, your thought patterns, removing that person doesn't immediately create peace. It creates an emotional vacuum. And humans naturally want to fill whatever suddenly feels empty or unfamiliar. That's exactly what happens with her. She may distance herself. She may claim she's done. She may even convince herself that she's moving on, but her mind is still wired around the emotional patterns you once shared. She remembers the way it felt when you listened without judgment, the comfort she felt when she could talk to you about things she wouldn't share with anyone else, the ease of having someone who understood her moods, her silence, and her energy. That kind of emotional familiarity creates a deep imprint, and even if she wants to walk away logically, her emotions lag behind. Women, more than men, form attachments through repeated emotional exchanges. Every late night call, every quiet moment, every inside joke, every vulnerable conversation. These things form a bond that doesn't disappear when the relationship changes. Instead, it becomes a space she keeps revisiting in her mind. She might think she's over you until something reminds her of a shared memory, a song, a place, a phrase, and suddenly she's back, not because she wants the relationship again, but because she can't easily detach from the emotional version of herself she became around you. And here's the part most men never realize. Even if she's not interested romantically, she may still feel connected to the emotional comfort you provided. Women can lose attraction, lose interest, lose excitement, but emotional familiarity is different. It lingers. And because you were once a source of stability for her, she doesn't want to fully sever the tie. It's not that she wants you back. It's that she doesn't know how to completely release the part of herself that was shaped by you. This is why she will still check your online status, still watch your stories, still get curious if you're talking to someone new, still react when she senses you're emotionally pulling away. She's not in love necessarily. She's attached to the emotional ecosystem she built with you. And humans, even strong, confident women, don't just walk away from ecosystems. They slowly detach, slowly unlearn, slowly rewire. Until then, she may hover in your orbit, not because she wants to claim you, but because letting go of emotional patterns takes longer than letting go of people. And here's the irony. The more you stop chasing, the more you detach, the more she feels that emotional space shifting. Your absence forces her to confront the emptiness she's been avoiding. When you pull back, she suddenly realizes how much of her world was tied to the subtle emotional exchanges you two shared. She realizes how deeply she relied on your presence, even if she never admitted it. And that realization creates confusion, curiosity, and sometimes even regret. She may not want a relationship, she may not see a future with you, but she can't fully let go because emotional patterns don't break cleanly. They fade slowly, unevenly, and often unexpectedly. That's why she still holds on, why she resurfaces out of nowhere, and why she still feels the pull, even when she claims she doesn't care. Another powerful reason women struggle to let you go, even when they act uninterested, is because letting you go forces them to confront the truth about themselves. Truths they've been avoiding, suppressing, or distracting themselves from. People like to think relationships end cleanly, that you walk away from someone and automatically walk into a fresh chapter. But in reality, separation exposes parts of a person they haven't worked on yet. And for her, losing you becomes a mirror she didn't want to look into. When you were in her life, you gave her a sense of emotional grounding. You reflected back to her who she was becoming, whether that was confident, loved, supported, or even challenged. You played a role in her identity, in her routines, in how she viewed herself. When that disappears, she doesn't just lose a person, she loses the version of herself she only knew because you were there. That's not easy to replace. That's not easy to accept. And that's why she keeps orbiting, checking, lingering, even when she claims she's moved on. Letting go of you forces her to acknowledge her own patterns. Maybe she took you for granted. Maybe she pushed you away out of fear. Maybe she acted uninterested because she didn't know how to give more. Maybe she expected you to always be there. Maybe she thought you would chase her forever. When you stop giving attention, stop validating her, stop showing up the way you used to, she suddenly has to face the uncomfortable truth that she might have contributed to losing something valuable. That internal conflict keeps her tied to you even when romance is gone. Women don't like feeling like they made the wrong call. They don't like feeling like they misjudged someone's value. They don't like realizing they acted from insecurity, ego, or fear. And when you step back, her mind replays everything. What she said, how she acted, the moments she should have handled differently. She may not apologize, she may not come back, but she can't fully detach because part of her is trying to rewrite the internal story she has about you and about herself. There's also the truth that letting go means releasing control. As long as she keeps an emotional tie to you, whether it's checking your socials, wondering what you're doing, or thinking about you during quiet moments, she feels like she still has some influence, some role in your life. But when she sees you moving on, becoming colder, becoming more focused, becoming unavailable, it forces her to accept the reality that she no longer shapes your world. And that loss of control is something most people struggle with, regardless of gender. She can't let you go because doing so means letting go of the narrative where you were always there, always trying, always providing emotional safety. It requires her to accept that the chapter is closing, that she is no longer part of your growth, that your evolution is happening without her. And accepting that hurts more than she will ever admit. Even if she's not interested romantically, she still wants to feel like she mattered. She still wants to believe she made an impact. She still wants to think she wasn't just another fleeting person in your life. And that subtle desire to hold on to significance keeps her tied to you long after her interest fades. When you step back, you don't just remove your presence. You remove the version of her that only existed around you. And that's what she struggles most to let go of. Another reason she can't let you go, even when she pretends she's not interested, is because you represent a chapter of emotional potential she never fully explored. Humans struggle far more with almost than with ended. Something unfinished lingers. Something that had potential but never reached its full expression becomes mentally sticky. And for her, you are that unresolved story, a connection that didn't break cleanly, a possibility that didn't get closure, a version of life she still wonders about. Even if she acts indifferent, even if she says she doesn't care, there's a part of her that can't forget the moments when things felt easy, when you understood her, when attraction was real, when conversations were effortless. Those moments create emotional residue, not obvious, not loud, but persistent. They show up in the quiet hours when distractions fade and honesty becomes impossible to outrun. She's not thinking about you because she wants a relationship. She's thinking about you because humans don't forget unfinished emotional energy. And here's the deeper truth: women are incredibly intuitive. They feel energy shifts before they consciously understand them. So when you withdraw, when you stop chasing, when you stop reacting, she senses that something is changing, not in the situation, but in you. She picks up on the shift in your tone, your silence, your detachment. And the moment she feels she no longer has emotional pull, the moment she realizes your attention is no longer guaranteed, something inside her panics, not out of love, but out of losing influence. People fear losing access more than losing relationships. She may not want you, but she doesn't want to feel you slipping into a life where she no longer matters. That fear alone can keep her emotionally tied to you. She may not reach out, but she'll watch from a distance. She may not initiate conversation, but she'll monitor your activity. She may not confess anything, but she'll silently compare herself to whoever enters your life next. This subconscious need to remain relevant is strong, and it's exactly why she keeps you around in her mind, even when she doesn't want you in her heart. There's also the fact that letting go of you means accepting that someone else might appreciate what she took lightly. It means another woman could experience the version of you she didn't take seriously. And even if she's not interested, it stings to think another person will benefit from the emotional presence, loyalty, patience, or effort she failed to recognize. That emotional discomfort makes her cling to the connection mentally, even when she refuses it romantically. She also remembers the way you made her feel effortlessly valued, not in an overwhelming try-hard way, but in the steady, genuine way that came naturally to you. Whether she admits it or not, those feelings are rare. People don't easily forget someone who made them feel seen without needing to perform, accepted without needing to pretend, and comfortable enough to drop their guard. That level of safety doesn't come often in life, and deep down she knows it. So she keeps you in her mental orbit, not because she wants to come back, but because you represent emotional potential she may never experience the same way again. And when she senses you're outgrowing the past, when she sees you're stepping into a new level of confidence, discipline, or independence, she realizes the chapter is closing for real, whether she's ready or not. And that realization alone is enough to keep her from letting go completely.